If I asked you what it takes to build generational wealth, what would you say? Hard work? Endless hustle? The perfect business idea? You have been lied to. Society teaches you to burn yourself out chasing money. This is why millions of men work themselves into an early grave and still die broke. The titans of industry knew a secret that the masses refused to believe. They knew that wealth is not chased. Wealth is magnetized. It is the natural and inevitable byproduct of a mind operating on a specific and disciplined frequency. You do not get what you want in this life, you get exactly what you are. There is a specific kind of stuck that you know all too well. You work hard, you read the books, you put in the hours, while the rest of the world sleeps. And yet, the breakthrough you were promised never seems to arrive. It feels as though you are driving your life forward with the emergency brake on. I am here to tell you that this is not a lack of effort. You do not have a motivation problem. You have a biological programming problem. Deep within the architecture of your brain, there is an outdated script running on a loop. It quietly sabotages every conscious step you take toward building true wealth. You have read Think and Grow Rich. You have practiced manifestation. You have written down your definite chief aim 100 times. But the wealth never materializes, leaving you feeling like you missed a hidden chapter. The truth is much darker. The gap between your bank account and the elite is not hustle. It is not poor financial planning. It is not a failure to visualize. You are trying to manifest wealth while your internal receiver is completely powered down. Before we dive deeper, I want to plant a seed in your mind. There is something deliberately hidden from the public by the 1%. It is something discovered not in a motivational book, but inside a classified laboratory. It is a biological secret funded by elite billionaires and verified by top-tier neuroscience. It finally explains something I know you have felt. It explains the frustrating gap between your vision and your reality. I will reveal exactly what this is before we finish today. But first, you must understand why the financial deck was stacked against you from birth. So hold this question in your mind. What if your struggle to attract abundance is not a lack of hustle, but a dormant frequency waiting to be switched on? Here is the brutal truth the elite do not want you to know. The reason the universe responds to the 1% and leaves the rest of the world struggling is not because they work harder than you. It is not because they visualize better, and it certainly is not because they have stronger discipline. It is entirely biological. Deep inside your brain is a tiny region called the hippocampus. In the insanely wealthy, this region is thick, highly developed, and constantly broadcasting a microscopic frequency. It literally pulls money, opportunities, and luck toward them like a giant magnetic vacuum. But for the average person, the reality is much darker. Because you were not born into an 8-figure family, you inherited a biological disadvantage. Science calls it a shrunken hippocampus. Instead of broadcasting a wealth frequency, your brain is trapped broadcasting a survival wave every single day. And the modern world is designed to keep it exactly that way. Every time you stress over bills, this tiny region shrinks a little more. Your natural ability to attract abundance is pushed deeper and deeper into dormancy. This is why you can read every self-help book with zero tangible results. You end up chasing money endlessly, while the elite simply let it flow to them effortlessly. It is a biological block, passed down from generation to generation, quietly sabotaging your highest potential. Most people will go to their graves believing they just did not work hard enough in this life. You are not most people. And remember the question I asked you to hold a few minutes ago, the one about whether your struggle was just a dormant frequency waiting to be switched on? You are about to see that the answer is not only scientifically proven, but it is closer than you could ever imagine. Look around you today. The world is full of men who wish for wealth, who beg for a lucky break. But the universe does not respond to beggars. It responds to commanders. The masses operate as the drifter. The drifter lets society dictate his fate and simply reacts to whatever circumstances come his way. There are two kinds of men in this world: the consumer who drifts aimlessly, and the Creator, who forces reality to bend to his will. You are watching this because you belong to the latter group. The Creator understands that chaos in the mind breeds chaos in the bank account. Order must be established. When Napoleon Hill wrote his masterpiece, he discovered that thoughts are things, but what science could not measure back then, we can measure accurately today. The law of attraction is not magic or wishful thinking, it is pure, undeniable neuroscience. Every thought is a seed, and your reality is the harvest. But if the soil of your mind is corrupted by a survival frequency, no seed of wealth will ever take root. You can chant affirmations until your throat bleeds. It will not matter if your biological receiver is broken. They will call you lucky when you finally succeed. They will never see the silent hours. Hustle culture is the modern slave driver. It keeps the drifter exhausted, distracted, and trapped in a state of permanent anxiety. And remember, that anxiety is exactly what shrinks the hippocampus further. It is a perfectly designed trap. The harder you stress, the further wealth moves away from you. Your life is not chaotic because you lack time. It is chaotic because you lack order. You lack the precise internal frequency required to command your reality. Until you rewrite that script, every empire you try to build will collapse under the weight of your unseen fears. But today, the veil is lifted. We are going to tear down the habits of the average man and install the mental framework of the 1%. Prepare yourself, because you are about to step into your sovereign power. The days of drifting are officially over. Your transformation begins right here and right now. Listen to me closely. But here is the profound truth that absolutely no one in the mainstream world will ever tell you. The universe works by strict mathematical law, and it is never governed by a random clock. Napoleon Hill spent a lifetime analyzing the most powerful men in human history. He discovered a hidden law that the masses completely ignore. He realized very quickly that thoughts are literal things. They are not just empty concepts floating inside of your head. Every thought is a seed that you plant in the fertile soil of your mind. Every action is the water you pour over it. And your physical reality is simply the inevitable harvest. If your life feels chaotic right now, it is because you have been planting seeds of chaos while expecting a harvest of peace. You have been operating daily as the drifter. The drifter is the ultimate victim in this life. The drifter wakes up every morning and immediately reacts to the noise of the external world. He immediately checks the daily news. He absorbs unnecessary fear from people around him. His mind is hijacked before he even leaves the bed. He lets society dictate his fate, and he silently accepts whatever meager crumbs fall from the table of the elite. The drifter constantly broadcasts a frequency of survival, and the universe simply matches that exact signal. But the opposite side of this equation is also entirely true. The Creator operates on a completely different level of daily existence. The Creator is the sovereign commander of his own mental architecture. He does not react to the external world because he forces the external world to react to his disciplined mind. The Creator knows that true wealth is always powerfully magnetized. Stop what you are doing and listen to me. Truly listen to my words, because the difference between the drifter and the Creator is not natural intelligence. It is not about having a better business plan, and it is certainly not about waking up earlier than everyone else. It is about strict and unrelenting mental dominion. The Creator understands that his subconscious is a tireless contractor. It builds exactly what it is strictly told to build. If you give your subconscious mind instructions of fear and poverty, it will construct a miserable prison for you. It will make sure you miss every lucrative opportunity that crosses your daily path. But if you command it with a frequency of absolute abundance, it works day and night to bring you incredible wealth. This is not some cheap or empty philosophy. That is a universal and undeniable law. It works exactly like the law of gravity. Napoleon Hill wrote extensively about a hidden power known as the ether. He said that the ether connects all human minds, and it flawlessly translates your dominant thoughts into their exact physical equivalents. Today, we do not call it the ether anymore. We call it measurable and scientific brainwave frequencies. The elite operate on a highly specific frequency that naturally aligns with monumental success. The drifter is completely locked out of it. You must become the mental gatekeeper of your own mind, starting today. You can no longer afford the dangerous luxury of a single negative thought. Every time you complain about your circumstances, you deeply reinforce the survival wave, telling the universe that you belong at the absolute bottom of the hierarchy. You must decide today to aggressively cut off the noise. A wrong decision is always infinitely better than making no decision at all. The gap between who you are and who you want to become is governed by this invisible law. You simply cannot outwork a completely misprogrammed mind. You can hustle for 20 long years, and you will still have absolutely nothing to show for your exhausting efforts. The drifter believes that physical labor is the only reliable way to get ahead. The architect of destiny knows that mental labor must always come first. How did a man with no education and no money build the largest steel empire in human history? Andrew Carnegie did not achieve greatness by merely working hard in a factory. He used a specific mental protocol that you can easily replicate tonight. He understood how to hold a single thought in his mind until the physical universe surrendered entirely to his vision. This is the ultimate and closely guarded Titan secret. Now let me make this incredibly plain for you. You have been reading the books and doing the exhausting work. You have desperately tried to force your way into financial success, but you have completely ignored the biological receiver sitting right inside your head. You cannot force a broken radio to play a station it is not properly tuned to. You must deliberately change the internal frequency first. Once the frequency shifts, the reality always follows. The masses wait for a magical miracle to save them from their daily misery. The 1% use the strict laws of the mind to architect their own salvation. Which one of these two paths will you choose? Are you the drifter who complains about the wind, or the creator who commands the sails? You must boldly claim your identity right now. Hesitation is the absolute death of destiny. But the moment you take absolute control, everything drastically changes. The right people suddenly appear in your life precisely when you need them, and the exact financial resources you require are provided without effort. The average person calls it a lucky coincidence. You will know it is deliberate synchronicity. It is the universal law in rapid motion. The drifter will hear this urgent message and do absolutely nothing about it. He will go back to his life of quiet desperation and blame the economy for his inevitable failures. But the Creator will listen and immediately recognize the profound truth. The Creator will equip himself with the precise knowledge needed to command his financial future. You are watching this right now because you are meant to confidently lead. Every thought you entertain is either pushing you forward or violently pulling you backward. There is no neutral territory anywhere in the human mind. You are either building an unstoppable empire, or you are quietly digging your own grave. You must become absolutely ruthless with your daily focus. You must eliminate the negative people and the toxic habits that drag you down into the suppressed survival wave. This is the strict practice of cosmic housekeeping. But before we get there, you need to fully understand the architecture of your own mind. You need to see exactly how the greatest minds in history applied this law to conquer the entire world. It is time to look at the undeniable evidence. Let us dive deep into the science and the history that proves you are a living magnet. Let us look at a brutal paradox. You read the books, you study the mindset of the rich, you actively apply the law of attraction, but your life gets worse. Why does focusing on wealth create more financial anxiety? The answer is simple, yet most spend their entire lives missing it. You are planting a new seed in toxic soil. Your conscious mind desires freedom, while your subconscious is violently screaming in absolute panic. This internal conflict is why positive thinking is useless for the average man. You think you are losing your mind because your efforts seem to push wealth further away. But here is the truth nobody tells you. You are not losing your mind. You are losing your outdated programming. Your brain is fighting the new reality because it is addicted to the old survival wave. To win this war, you must bypass the conscious mind entirely and attack the root. Let us look to the example of Thomas Edison. He did not invent the light bulb through sheer physical exhaustion. When Edison faced an impossible problem, he did not simply work harder. He deliberately put himself to sleep in a chair with heavy brass balls in his hands. He used a specific protocol to access the theta brainwave state just before falling asleep. This is the exact frequency where divine intelligence flows directly into the human mind. Henry Ford operated on the exact same hidden frequency to build his empire. Ford was not a man of formal education, but he possessed an unshakable internal receiver. When they dragged him into court to prove his ignorance, he remained completely unbothered. He demonstrated a cold calmness that terrified average men. He knew his mind was perfectly aligned with monumental success. Ford and Edison did not chase money. They tuned their brains to it. Now let me make this incredibly plain. This is not ancient philosophy. That is undeniable biological law, like gravity. Modern neuroscience has finally caught up to what the Titans always knew intuitively. Deep inside your brain sits a microscopic powerhouse known as the hippocampus. Clinical brain scans reveal that wealthy people have a thick and highly developed hippocampus. It acts as a powerful magnetic force, pulling lucrative opportunities into their reality. But the working class has a massive biological disadvantage that they never asked for. Generations of chronic stress create what scientists call a shrunken hippocampus. Your brain is literally damaged by the endless cycle of modern hustle culture. When this vital region shrinks, your natural ability to attract abundance completely shuts down. Your brain is forcefully trapped, broadcasting a weak survival wave, blocking every single opportunity meant for you. Before we go any further, I have to share a massive breakthrough that changes everything. It is a biological secret the elite billionaires have spent vast fortunes to keep hidden. A rogue neuroscientist, formerly working on classified CIA experiments, recently leaked a shocking discovery. He and a team of top-tier researchers found a specific way to wake up that dormant wealth frequency. They found a precise protocol to rapidly reverse the effects of a shrunken hippocampus, and they did not do it through decades of exhausting meditation or waking up at 4 in the morning. They discovered a mechanism that is infinitely simpler and far more powerful. It is a precise and perfectly engineered 7-minute acoustic wave. When you listen to this audio track, this specific sound frequency bypasses your conscious mind. It directly stimulates that tiny region of your brain and forces it to rapidly grow back to its natural size. 4 independent neuroscience labs have already verified this biological mechanism. Elite researchers on the campuses of Harvard and Yale are observing this specific brainwave activation right now. They found that once this acoustic frequency is heard, it forces the brain to stop broadcasting the survival wave. It instantly flips the switch on your biological ability to attract massive wealth. I will tell you exactly what this protocol is called before this message ends. But first, you must take absolute responsibility for your own mental architecture. You cannot outwill a misprogrammed mind through sheer force. You must systematically reprogram it. The drifter hears about this science and quickly returns to his miserable distractions. He silently accepts his poverty as fate. The creator hears this truth and immediately equips himself with every available advantage. Which exact identity will you choose to boldly embody tonight? That severe anxiety you feel when you think about money is just a symptom of a broken receiver. It is a paradoxical sign that your brilliant mind is desperately crying out for a new frequency. You are not destined to be poor for the rest of your life. You simply inherited a biological disadvantage that can now be permanently repaired. You must aggressively command your mind to stop fighting and start receiving. Synchronicity only happens when the internal environment is perfectly ordered. Stop waiting for an external savior to rescue you. Stop complaining about the current economy. The universe owes you absolutely nothing if you violently refuse to align your frequency. You must become the ruthless gatekeeper of your own thoughts. If a thought does not directly serve your ultimate vision, you must execute it without mercy. The 1% protect their mental energy with lethal precision. You must adopt this exact same standard if you truly want to rule your world. This is where most ambitious people completely fail. They understand the scientific theory, but they absolutely refuse to implement the daily discipline. Knowledge without aggressive execution is just another form of delusion. You now know the biological mechanism. You understand the profound difference between the drifter and the unstoppable force. The drifter will ignore this truth. The master will use it tonight to claim his rightful throne. But protecting your sacred energy is only step one. Now you must learn exactly how to rapidly multiply it. You must build a highly rigid daily system that makes your inevitable success a mathematical certainty. How do you practically construct this mental fortress? What is the exact daily routine used by the Titans to program their minds for ultimate victory? And that brings us to the strict law of daily practice. Let us make this highly practical. Now we are getting close to the thing you can actually do. Knowledge without relentless execution is a complete delusion. You can study the neuroscience of the hippocampus for years, but if you refuse to change your daily routine, your reality will remain completely frozen. The masses consume endless information to feel productive. The Creator executes a strict and unapologetic daily protocol because he demands ultimate power. You must take absolute dominion over the final 15 minutes of your day. This is the sacred window where your conscious mind hands the keys to your subconscious. Your subconscious is a tireless contractor. It builds exactly what you instruct it to build right before you sleep. If you go to bed worrying about your mounting debt, you order it to construct a reality of deeper poverty for tomorrow. This is exactly why you must aggressively protect your night routine. You are literally programming your own failure while you rest. But what if you hijack that system? What if you use those dark hours to commission wealth, clarity, and unshakable confidence while your competitors sleep? I am going to show you the exact mechanism to do this. You must implement the strict practice of cosmic housekeeping tonight. Step 1 requires brutal and uncompromising discipline. You must entirely disconnect from the digital matrix 30 minutes before sleep. No news, no scrolling, no toxic arguments. You cannot pour pure water into a poisoned well. The drifter falls asleep staring at a glowing screen. The architect of destiny requires absolute silence to build his empire because a quiet mind is the ultimate weapon of creation. Step 2 is the clear formulation of your definite chief aim. You must possess one singular and undeniable goal. A scattered mind manifests absolute chaos in the physical world. You must write this goal down on paper every single night without fail. The physical act of writing bypasses your logical doubts, and it forcefully installs the new reality directly into your brain. It is a direct command issued to your internal operating system. Do not just listen to this passively. Write it down right now. Formulate your exact financial target. Say this aloud, not once, but every single morning and night. I am the sovereign commander of my fate. Say it until your physical body actually believes it. Let the intense vibration of these words systematically rewire the architecture of your broken mind while you sleep. Stop what you are doing and listen to me. Truly listen, because this next step separates the 1% from the absolute bottom of society. You must master the law of assuming the state. You must act, walk, and speak as if the massive wealth is already secured in your bank account. This is not delusion. It is the highest form of frequency alignment, forcing the universe to naturally match your standard. If a billionaire lost all his money today, he would not panic. He possesses a cold calmness that absolutely terrifies the average man. He views failure purely as raw data. He knows his internal receiver is still perfectly intact, and the wealth will inevitably return. You must adopt this exact same attitude tonight. When the unexpected bills arrive, you do not flinch. You maintain the rigid posture of a king. You must aggressively stop playing the miserable victim. The world is incredibly harsh, but remaining at the absolute bottom is a choice you make daily. Nobody is coming to magically save you. Your family cannot save you, and the government will never save you. You are the sole architect of your reality. The moment you accept this massive responsibility, your dormant power immediately awakens to serve your vision. What is controlling your mind today? Is it fear, doubt, self-pity, or deep resentment? You must violently evict these parasites from your mental temple. They are actively shrinking your hippocampus and keeping your wealth frequency locked in a dark cage. You must say to yourself that you will no longer tolerate small thinking. You will no longer let fear write the script of your financial future. The drifter believes that his emotions are uncontrollable weather. The creator knows that his emotions are simply powerful tools meant to be strictly directed. When intense anger or severe anxiety arises, you do not suppress them. You ruthlessly redirect that intense energy into building your empire. Transmutation is the ultimate secret of the elite. You convert raw panic into unstoppable forward momentum. Let us return to the paradox we discussed earlier. You think you are losing your mind because you no longer relate to your old friends. But here is the truth no one tells you. You are not losing your mind. You are simply losing your poverty programming. When your frequency elevates, the universe naturally removes people who operate on a low survival wave, and you must let them walk away without hesitation. Do not mourn the sudden loss of the drifters in your life. Their departure is the absolute proof that your new mental protocol is working exactly as intended. The required cost of becoming a titan is temporary isolation. You must fully embrace this quiet season. The universe is clearing the toxic debris to make room for your massive financial inheritance, and you must stand completely firm in your new identity. This daily practice is simple but demands unyielding discipline. It requires you to act independently of external motivation. Motivation is a cheap emotion that disappears the moment things get hard. Discipline is the iron bridge that connects your current reality to your massive vision, and it requires zero emotional support. You do not need to feel good to execute this ritual. You simply decide it is law. The chosen few who implement this strict routine tonight will see their physical reality bend. The opportunities you thought were impossible will suddenly become your daily normal. Your brain will stop broadcasting fear, and it will start pulling in highly lucrative synchronicities. But you must hold the line. You must treat this nighttime tradition as absolutely sacred. It is the ultimate contract you sign with destiny. You are rapidly approaching a massive turning point in your life. The hidden knowledge is now fully in your hands. You know the mechanism. You know the devastating cost of a shrunken hippocampus. You know the strict nightly protocol required to fix it, and you understand the immense power of the Creator. The only thing standing in your way right now is your own hesitation. The drifter pauses here. The Master accelerates. The time for drifting is officially over. You are one decision away from absolute momentum. You are one belief away from profound clarity. A completely new life is waiting on the other side of your fear, but that massive shift will not happen unless you boldly make it happen. I invite you to make a final decision right here and right now. You must look at your current circumstances and boldly say no more. No more playing the miserable victim to a broken economy. No more letting severe anxiety write the script of your life. That pathetic chapter is permanently over. The world is waiting for a conscious creator who has finally chosen to rise above the mental noise. Remember the vital question I asked you to hold at the very beginning. What if your financial struggle is not a lack of hustle, but a dormant frequency? Here is your final answer. A microscopic wealth attraction frequency is naturally active in the 1%, and it is driven by a highly developed region of the brain called the hippocampus. Top-tier neuroscience completely confirms this biological reality. Elite researchers on the campuses of Harvard and Yale are observing it right now. Dr. Thomas Summers is a rogue neuroscientist who formerly worked on classified experiments. He refused to let elite billionaires keep this biological protocol hidden from the working class. Before I tell you exactly what his team built, listen to this evidence. Emma was a former nurse from California who felt completely cursed financially. After just 3 days of listening, she quit her exhausting job. She sold her house for way over the asking price, and she completely broke the generational cycle of poverty for her family. Michael was a former policeman in Florida who desperately needed clients. Within 5 days of using this protocol, he completely quadrupled his high-paying clients. He found himself rapidly networking with wealthy elites who put him on national television. This is the exact power of what Dr. Summers and his brilliant researchers discovered. They call it the billionaire brainwave. It is not a generic manifestation app. It is a highly engineered 7-minute binaural sound wave designed to directly stimulate your hippocampus. That is the entirety of the work required. 7 minutes in the morning with your headphones on while you sip your coffee, you simply let the frequency rewire you. The billionaire brainwave is not built for everyone. It is heavily reserved for the visionary who knows their lack of wealth is just a blocked biological channel. Private clinical sessions to reverse a shrunken hippocampus cost thousands of dollars. What Dr. Summers leaked delivers the exact same neurological shift for a tiny fraction of its value. 4 powerful bonuses are included to deeply support your new reality. You receive a wealth management guide called the Warren Buffett Pyramid. You also get an exclusive report decoding 7 lazy millionaire habits. It includes an emergency quick cash manifestation audio track and a massive collection of 500 billionaire success stories. Here is the much deeper truth about waiting. The immense wealth and opportunities you have been praying for are already circling you today. The blessing is not missing at all, but your internal receiver is simply broken. Delaying means letting your massive inheritance remain completely invisible. The creator who restores their frequency finally wins. Do not look for this on streaming platforms. The tracks circulating under similar names elsewhere are dangerous fakes meant to distract you. The only authentic version is available through the protected link placed in the description and the pinned comment below. It comes strictly with the billionaire's ironclad promise for your absolute safety. Your evolution carries absolute zero physical risk today. If you do not experience a physical and undeniable increase in your wealth, every single penny is rapidly returned. It is an energetic exchange governed by complete trust. The universe requires absolutely no financial risk from you. The link to your abundance is in the pinned comment below. The tool is not the final destination. It simply repairs your biological receiver so the wealth you visualize can finally materialize. Abundance is your divine birthright, and the universe requires no transaction for you to truly deserve it. Whether you choose that path or not, let us go deeper into preparing your sovereign mind for what comes next. You did not click this video by sheer accident. You came here as a man exhausted by the relentless drift. You were deeply tired of playing the victim to cruel circumstances. But today you have remembered exactly who you are, and you realize your true power was never lost. You are the sovereign gatekeeper of your thoughts. Claim your rightful throne. If your intuition firmly confirms that the frequency tool described earlier is the missing key to your abundance, the path remains completely open. You can find it waiting in the description below. That is the last time it will be explicitly mentioned. What strictly follows now belongs entirely to the mental ceiling of your new billionaire mindset. The world has absolutely no choice but to bend to your disciplined mind. You must break free once and for all from the heavy shackles of negative thinking. Your thoughts are the key, and your monumental destiny is waiting. Will you be remembered as the man who allowed doubt to define him, or the man who looked fear in the face and said absolutely not? Write your definite purpose in the comments below right now. Let those exact words be the sacred contract you sign with your own destiny. Leave your vow in the comments to fiercely command the listening universe. Subscribe to this channel if this powerful tradition is yours. Listen to this lesson again until it is fully installed in your brain.